Hello and good evening, everyone out there watching tonight. My name is Eric McKinley King, and I am the producer of the Ego Podcast. I know you probably tuned in expecting to see our host, April Watts. Like you do every Tuesday, you will tonight. Just bear with us for a few minutes. She's still on her way to your screen. But before we get to April, tonight's obviously a special night for all of us in this country, and the Ego Podcast team wanted to take this opportunity to reach out with a message to our viewers. If you haven't already guessed, we aren't recording our live podcast tonight as scheduled, which is why I'm live in the living room, reading from a teleprompter or trying to, rather than at the studio with the usual lights, camera, and action. In fact, each one of us from the Ego team recorded a brief message from our respective homes, or Zoom rooms as we're calling them these days. We wanted to call a quick timeout and take a moment to acknowledge this solemn and historical night and the gravity it deserves, and leave you with a message of gratitude and one of hopefulness. First things first, though, a most heartfelt thanks from me to you, because in the midst of a once-in-a-lifetime public health crisis by the corona pandemic that was brought upon us in March, we've worked tirelessly and safely to bring you fresh voices and engaging content each week. It's not an easy task, but it's been a labor of love and a fulfilling one nonetheless. So every click to view our show, every like, every share, comment, or new follower or subscriber is wholeheartedly felt by the entire production staff. There really is no ego without you, and as cliche as that sounds, it is true. The show literally lives off of your energy, and our best, all of us, is yet to come. Many of you have already participated in exercising the democratic franchise, otherwise known as your right to vote. And some of you may still even be in line as we speak right now, because this recording is being released at 8 o'clock on election night. And if you are, we appreciate you. Stay in the fight until the finish. And we'll see you when you get that sticker. Sometimes we have to have a serious conversation. And we appreciate you sharing those moments with us just as much as the laughs and the shits and the giggles. Just like there's no ego without you, there really is no democracy without you. Voting this year was particularly meaningful. I had the good fortune and opportunity to take my son to the polls. This time, for the very first time, at the same damn time, we got to go into the precinct and cast our votes together. Separate polling machines and ballots, of course. And he turned 22 this year, which is crazy in its own right. I know he's watching right now, and so I'm going to put on my dad hat and tell him I'm proud of him for getting his shit together, and I hope he continues to keep it together, and we can celebrate this election we could celebrate every other election like we did this one. Thank you for taking the time, making the effort, and doing the lines, and posting your pics or those hilarious memes. They really keep us going. Some dark days, some anxious days. So a little humor goes a long way, because while we like to say that our show is a podcast about opinions, it's really about people. And that's really all for my little sermon tonight. I hope you all continue to enjoy and like and share and subscribe and all the things. We love your comments. Get this message out to all of your family and friends. We want you to stay active and vigilant and engaged in the process. And anything that we can do to support that, we'll continue to try to do. Because the real work of bettering our nation begins once the election ends. With that, stay tuned. We have a few more messages coming. And we'll see you again live next week from the studio.
I am Brian Lyles. I am the director of Ego's podcast. Unfortunately, as you already know, we don't have a show, but I hope you guys did something very important, which was voting. Yes, I already did my early voting. I did it through the mail because I wanted to stay safe, as you can see here. But I hope that you guys did your part. We've heard this all before. It's a very important election and things like that. But it is important that you go and vote, speak, put your voice out there, and let everyone know who you want to represent not only your country, but also your city, your state, everywhere. Make the right choices, and hopefully you guys make the right choice of whoever you voted for. So we'll see you all next week. Stay safe, and keep watching Eagle Podcast.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jonathan Warren. I am the media intern assistant for Eagle Podcast. I just wanted to send a special message to our viewers. This election is an important one, and I hope everyone got the chance to vote. When Obama ran for president, it made people like me believe that we could be whatever we want to be. I hope you all encourage others to vote. And please stay safe. And thank you for watching Eagle Podcast. We'll see you back here again next week.
Hi, my name is Mike, and I'm an intern for the Eagle Podcast. Since tonight is election night, I'd like to send a special message out to the viewers. This election is important to me because people like Breonna Taylor, they can't vote. People like Freddie Gray, they can't vote. I'm out here free and I can do what they can. I hope you guys stay safe, and thank you guys for watching the Eagle Podcast. We'll see you guys again next week. Be safe.
What's good, family? It's your guy, Jason Rodriguez, technical producer of the Eagle Podcast, out here at Liberty Heights Avenue, home of BCCC, one of the polling stations for election 2020 right here in Baltimore City. And I'm here today to talk to each and every one of you, our fans, about the importance of this election, what it means to the Eagle team, what it means to me. And when I think about this election, I have to think about our ancestors. I have to think about those who paved the way to allow me to be able to go into this polling station today and to be able to exercise my right to vote freely without it being suppressed, without threats of violence projected against me, without me possibly losing my life for just doing that, exercising my right to vote. Folks of color in the southern states, in states like Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and how these southern states were heavily engaged in the suppression of black vote in these southern states. And today marks a really two important pieces of history are celebrated today. One of the worst violence in political history took place on this day, November 2nd, 1920. And it all started over black folks trying to exercise their right to vote. Florida right now, there are over 100 reports of violence, political violence that has taken place during this political cycle. And all across the country, there is political violence taking place. And we see, and still many of those same southern states, the suppression of black voters. Everything from the removal of polling stations and not making it convenient for folks to be able to go out and exercise their right to vote. Even here in the state of Maryland, there's been talk that a Republican governor in this state has made it inconvenient for poor blacks in this state to be able to get access to polling stations. Some of our seniors that may not have the ability to be as mobile as before, to be as agile as before, to get out and vote. It is important that we do our civic duty. It's important that we teach the younger generation the importance of why we should be voting, to pay homage to them for the lives that they lost, from the trees that they hung from the lampposts that they hung from the blood that they have shedded in the name of us being able to come here and be able to exercise our right to vote. We owe it to them. We appreciate each and every one of you, our Eagle fans. We hope that you got out, and of course, we'll be back next Tuesday with another powerful, hot episode of the Ego Podcast every Tuesday, 8 p.m. on YouTube, Facebook, Periscope. Make sure you share, like, subscribe. We appreciate you joining us each and every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Make sure you go out there and you vote. One love, family. Peace.
This is Rex, technical support and graphics for Ego. Everyone's got one. There's no question in my mind that this is the most important election in American history. The stakes are enormous. Every vote counts. You have a say in which direction you want America to go. No matter what the outcome is, remember one thing: we are all American. Please be safe. God bless America, and God bless you.
Hello, everyone. It's the official Kate Styles, head of social media for the Eagle Podcast. Tonight is a very, very, very important night. Very important. Election night. I am here to share a special message to all of our viewers. I want to give you a little bit about my voting experience. My first time voting was the age of 18. And that was 2016, the year of 2016. That was more so a very, very fun kind of thing. It was very like, oh, it's my first time voting. You know, it's just like, oh, your first car or your first house or your first this or that. Anything of your first is always going to be memorable. Today, voting this time kind of left a real impact on me. Me voting today showed how much of a voice I have. If I didn't vote, if I never voted, if I would have voted, if I could have voted, all of those shouldn't even be a factor. It's when I did vote. It's after I voted. I really want you guys to know that this time made me really, really emotional. Me voting this time or this year made me very, very emotional. Just for the simple fact of it being under the circumstances that they are now. The things that black men have been going through, the things that black women, just African American individuals in general have been going through. Alongside other minorities. So those who are saying that they're not voting, those who are saying that there is no such thing as a change, where's your hope? Because there is hope. But what I will say is, when I voted today, I prayed over my ballot as a tear formed in my eye. Because I want good for our people. I want good for all. Black, white, Hispanic, Asian. We're Americans. Americans, a group of mixed minorities. A group from all over the world. We are a mixed country. We should never feel or be divided. It hurts my heart that it even has to come to this point. I voted, you shall vote too. I would like to thank everyone, each and every single one of you, for watching the Eagle Podcast.
Hey, Tag Cool here. Hey, it's sound engineer for Ego. A lot of things I look at. The election does a lot for me. Every year since 1988, coming out of high school, I voted for president. And every time, most of the time, I've gone both directions. I've voted Republican. I've voted Democratic. I even at one point I wanted to vote for an independent, but most of the stuff I do, I usually vote for what they're looking to do for the country, not just for me. But when it comes to certain things, there's very few things that I have to worry about. One, roof over my head, food on the table. Without those, it doesn't matter about anything else. It's also protection and everything else for my friends, my family, and people that are close around me. I'm kind of fearful for tonight, the unrest that we could have happening depending on what the outcomes are starting to show. it's a sad day that this country's allowed things to happen when people are upset that their trigger is to go out and do things that we've never used to have in this country before. I'm hoping there's a safe place for most people that can get there and get things done to keep themselves out of trouble. And if you're thinking about going out and doing something dumb, it'd probably be wise to stay home and not do something dumb. You're not helping yourself. You're not helping your neighbors. You're not helping anybody by going out and doing anything dumb tonight because you didn't get your way. We all want something in life, and sometimes we don't get what we want. So hopefully everybody stays safe, and I hope to see the team back Tuesday for the next podcast. Take care.
Man, what you mean why I got on this sweater? It's cold and windy. Oh. Hey guys, I didn't even see you there. But anyway, hey, my name is Marlena, and I am the media intern for Ego Podcast. And since tonight, right here tonight, is election night, I just wanted to send a special message to all you viewers out there. I remember my first time voting when it really mattered the most, and it meant so much to me, and that was when Obama was running for president. I don't even remember who he was running against, but all I remember was the momentum. You know, it was just like, wow, this is the first time, like, a minority, not just a minority, but a black man is running for president. So this was like a huge deal for like everyone, everybody of color, even white. I mean, it was a huge deal. So I made sure I got out there and I was just like, let my family members know, ones that are older than me that have never voted before. I was like, come on, you gotta get out there, you gotta register to vote. That way you can vote, because every vote counts. Every vote counts. And then, you know, you have people who are kind of skeptical about it, which I understand. Those are the, you know, the older ones that are pretty much stuck in their ways, or they're very wise and they notice a lot of stuff that happens, which I'm not knocking that. You know, they just really woke. But that was a big deal. And it was like when Obama won, it felt like when the Ravens won the Super Bowl years ago. I mean, like the first time they won the Super Bowl. I don't even remember what year that was, but I was like, I had a lot of fun that year. But I was so excited. I even went down to the downtown by City Hall, right in front of City Hall, because Obama and Joe Biden and stuff like that, they was coming to visit Baltimore. I even got it like on camera and everything. And I remember layering up with a lot of clothes and coats and stuff like that because it was really, really cold. And I got up really, really, really close too. So I had some really awesome footage. So like, I've never liked to stand in the cold or a long line or anything like that. But I gotta tell you that it was interesting because it was for a good cause. It was something that I was passionate about. It was something that I was so excited about. It was like a victory. You know, like we had won something so huge, like, because it was a huge change from all these hundreds of years. So it's just like, okay, so I'm down there, it's freezing cold, I couldn't feel my toes regardless of how many pairs of socks on. I even had like those hand and foot warmers, because people were like walking around selling it. You know, somebody's always trying to get their hustle on. But like I had the foot warmers in each shoe, and I had like the hand warmers in my gloves and stuff like that. But it didn't matter, because once Obama stepped out there and Joe Biden, and it just... And I think Michelle was with them, Michelle Obama and Joe Biden's wife. I think all four of them walked out. Or it might have just been both. I'm not sure. It was a while ago. But I know, but right now I don't know. Okay, but let's just say when Obama was here, I was there. And I was up front, pretty much like really close. And I got to like literally see him. But the crazy part about it is, seeing him like that made it seem like I was watching him on television. So it was just, you know, it was just weird. But it's like, you always see celebrities and like people that are on television so much. Like when you see them in person, like one concert or something like that, to me, I don't know about you, but to me it feels like I'm still watching them on TV. Now if I'm meeting them, that's completely different, so it'll be a completely different experience. So that's like the one-on-one experience. But that was the one election that meant so much to me, and it just made me feel so good inside afterwards because it was a huge deal. Anything after that, I don't feel like talking about it, and I won't. I hope all of you have a wonderful, wonderful evening and experience, and please, by all means, be safe. And thanks for watching Ego Podcast, and we'll see you back here next week. They're trying to tell me to get up and sit. Let me make sure I look good because sometimes my head be like all over the place. Alright, I'm gone for real this time. See ya.
Hi, I'm April Watts, the executive producer and host of Ego, that's Everybody's Got One. It's simply a podcast about opinions. So far so good, man. We're like 8 or 9 episodes in, and you have been liking, you have been sharing, you have been hitting that subscribe button on YouTube. Keep it coming, man. We love it. We love it. And of course, we appreciate you for all of that. And if you follow Ego, you already know that every Tuesday at 8 o'clock is when the show goes live. But tonight is a very important night. So in lieu of the podcast, we have put together this PSA with a very special message for you about election night. This year is probably the most important and pivotal election of our lifetime. Of course, there have been some others that were pretty important, but this one in our lifetime, it doesn't get any more important. And it was so important for me to vote that I voted early this year for the first time in my life. Usually I vote on election day. I get excited about standing in line and all that stuff. But this year, I wanted to leave no stone unturned. I wanted to leave nothing to risk or chance. I wanted to make sure I had all my ducks in a row. I dotted every I and crossed every T to cast my vote and let my voice be heard. I did it, and it felt pretty damn good. This year, what voting means to me is to be quintessentially American. Yes, our country is fallible. No, we are not perfect. We get a lot of things wrong. But the beauty of the idea of America, the beauty of what we stand for, is the ability to keep trying until we get it right. It's the ability to hold our leaders accountable, and if they don't do what they're supposed to do, to vote them out. And now more than ever for me within my lifetime, it was important to stand up for what America is supposed to be about. It was important for me to vote against hate. It was important for me to vote to bring the country back together. It was important to me to cast a vote for humanity, because I believe that lately here, this country has been losing our humanity. And so I wanted to get back to what we're supposed to be about. As imperfect as we are, there is a lot of things right about America. It was also important to me to make sure that I casted an informed vote. This year, I took the time in advance to go through every single question on the ballot to make sure that I understood every bit of that language, to make sure that I already knew which way I was going to vote. I made sure that I took time and I studied the candidates so I could cast the most informed vote possible. And I hope you did the same. But tonight, we want you to be safe in the comfort of your own home watching the election coverage. And no matter what the outcome is, because this country is very polarized, no matter what the outcome may be, some people are not going to be happy. Some people are going to be frustrated and disgruntled. And we pray for peace, but you have to prepare for civil unrest. So please, whatever you do, keep your mind and your spirit right. Whatever you do, stay peaceful. Whatever you do, stay safe. And whatever you do, stay encouraged. And understand that we will get through this together as a nation. Understand that we can improve. We will get better. And for my African Americans, yes, I am a humanist. I love everyone. But as an African American woman, I have a message to African Americans right now. We need to start operating as immigrants. No matter who the president of the country may be, we need to be able to survive. And a lot of immigrants understand that community is the key to survival. And so we need to get to community as African Americans. We need to start looking at entrepreneurship. We need to start looking at education. We need to start looking at family legacy businesses. Yes, sometimes you don't want to do what your dad did or what your mom did, but when you're setting up a financial legacy, we need to start looking at cooperative economics. There's Chinatown, there's Koreatown, there's Little Italy, Little Ethiopia. African Americans, we need something too, okay? So it's time to be encouraged. It's time to start moving. No matter what the outcome of the election may be, we're going to be all right. Love you. Stay safe. Stay peaceful. God bless. And of course, thank you for watching Ego. We'll be back next Tuesday at 8 o'clock. All right?